Okay, if you're an actor and you're wondering if doing verticals is a fat waste of time, this episode is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to Acting Like an Actor. I'm your host, Sophie Jordan-Collins, and this week we have actress, writer, and producer, Grace Swanson. Grace is known for her work on shows like I Can Never Be Yours, Love the Way You Lie, and Driven for Love. Grace is on the front end of the vertical shows that are completely taking over Hollywood right now. Grace talks with us about the first steps she took when she moved to LA, how she started booking these vertical shows, and she even talks about some bigger projects that these vertical shows have led to. So if you're wondering if anything will come of these vertical shows or what kind of the vibe is here, I feel like this conversation with Grace will give you a lot of clarity about that. Grace also just has such a positive aura and a joyful presence, and she gives a lot of really tangible tips for new actors. So, let's dive in.
Are you rich?
Are you famous?
What have you been on?
I don't really recognize you, and neither does my mom.
Can you laugh?
Can you cry on command?
I mean, you said you were an actor, man.
What's your backup plan? Is it shattered?
Dude, I'm just acting like an actor.
Okay, Grace. So the question we always start with on acting like an actor is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I would have to say, I was kind of thinking about this. My grandpa always told me that, like, life's not a dress rehearsal, which is the cheesiest, quote that everyone talks about. But I do think about that every day because you do only, live once, so you have to live it. You have to be conscious of that and what you do on the day to day, and how other people perceive you and how how you're how you become yourself. And I think that's probably something I always think about, trying to emulate that energy that he always had. So
Yeah, I've never heard it put that way, but I love that because I think it's so true with everything in life. We're like, oh, I can do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll get to this next week, and it's like, oh, girl, you don't know if you're gonna have it tomorrow.
No, exactly.
So
it's so
right.
important to think about.
Yeah, live every day to the fullest. I love that. Okay, would you be able to tell us just kind of how you fell into the world of acting? Were you a performer growing up? Things like that?
Totally. I don't know exactly what first sparked it, but I was, in grade school, I did all the musicals and theater, and I did it in high school, and I just loved it, and I loved my, my theater group in high school. They were called the Harlequins, and it was just like such a happy, safe Harlequins.
Okay.
And it was such a happy, safe space that I had in a really, competitive high school, and just so creative. And I think that kind of was the spark that made me realize, oh, I definitely want to work in the creative world. I never knew that acting was what I 100% wanted to pursue, but I knew that I wanted to be in film in some capacity because it's just so exciting to be able to create something every day and go to set and you're just playing pretend and making things with people, and it's so personable because you're always face to face, and I love that. So I think that's kind of where the journey began, and I realized, oh, I would love to pursue this career-wise.
Where are you from?
Chicago.
Okay, I'm from Michigan. I didn't know you were
Okay,
Midwest.
Midwest.
I know. Okay, cool. Did you go to college for acting or anything like that?
I went to college for theater and economics and business, actually.
Oh, triple major?
No, it was a double major, and then I had a minor in business. So I knew I wanted to go into production, but wanted to cover all my bases. Okay. So
she's a smart actress. I didn't know that. Okay, double major.
But yeah, so, and I think it was also I wasn't sure that, as I said before, acting was what I wanted to pursue. So I was like, let's just test all the waters and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. How was that experience for you? How was college? Are you glad you went? Do you regret going? Because I know some people have mixed feelings about it.
Totally. I loved it. I really, really loved my college experience. My best friends from college are still, I talk to them every day. They're all in completely different fields, which I appreciate too, because I'll be talking to one of them on the phone and they're talking about their tech job or the consulting job, and then I'm like, oh, I'm on set right now and I have to go film this weird waterboarding scene or something, some crazy.
Right.
And it's just, we live in completely different worlds, and I appreciate from going to college that I got to, experience so many different types of careers and people pursuing different things.
Yeah, I think it's so important because we get so in our like bubble of actors, but it's so important, right, to remember like life outside of
there's
acting
other things
and, like,
to do.
talk with normal people, especially because as actors that's what we're playing too. So you want to make sure that you understand all aspects of life. But
Completely.
I know it's so eye-opening. What college did you go to, just out of curiosity?
I went to Northwestern University,
Northwestern University,
so
okay.
still in Chicago or Evanston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When did you move out to LA?
I moved out here, I think it's exactly like 2 years as of a couple weeks ago.
So right after college you came out here?
Yeah, I was in Chicago for like 6 months working at a marketing company. And then in like October, November-ish, I was like, okay, I'm going.
Just gonna try.
Which I'm so glad I did, because now that for many reasons I love LA, but just the weather alone, like, I talk to my parents every day and it's freezing cold there, so.
No, literally. I know, yesterday I was on the phone with my parents, like, it's snowing! I'm like, it's not supposed to snow for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did you go home for Thanksgiving? Or?
No, I went to my boyfriend's in Orange County.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Did you go home for Thanksgiving?
I was just in San Diego visiting my brother.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, which is
nice that he's out here.
So nice, nice.
Okay, so you're kind of in the vertical world. She's actually, I was very excited to talk to Grace because I've had vertical actors on here and it's a very new thing, but you were like legitimately one of the first ones. Like, so can you talk to me about when you booked that first one and just kind of like how you got involved in that world? And
Totally.
what it's become?
I remember when I got sent the sides for it last August, like August 2023.
That was the Luna one?
It was True Luna, yeah.
True Luna.
And I was like, is this? And I talked to my mom about it because the script I was sent, what didn't really make sense. And she was like, you're not working, you don't, like, I was an assistant to a documentary producer at the time.
Okay.
And she was like, you want to work on projects, just whatever, submit, see what happens. And so then I booked it and it was the wildest ride. I mean, from the experiences of being on these sets, it's so funny and fun. Like, I look back at that shoot so fondly because it felt like summer camp. I'm really close friends with the two other actors that were kind of my co-stars, and we still talk at least once a week. But yeah, it was definitely, I had no idea what they were. I didn't know anyone who had worked on one before. And I like looked them up online. I was like, okay, yeah.
It almost seemed sus in the beginning. I don't know about you, but I was like, this is kind of sketchy. Like, I don't know.
I know, and then they send you the scripts, and it's like 120 pages, and you're gonna shoot it in like 9 days. So that was, I've learned a lot from it, but like having to be prepped for like 10 to 15 pages a day of shooting in every single scene was definitely like a boot camp. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a great way to get into the industry because you learn so much from being on set.
100%.
But yeah, so then True Luna came out and then it kind of just started a ripple effect.
Because that one did very well. That was also one of the first ones I feel like that like went viral. It's like True Luna. Your face is in all these random ads.
No, like... literally. My roommate that I live with, one of my roommates that I live with now, she actually had seen the show before she knew who I was or before we met. Isn't that so funny?
That is funny.
Which I think is hilarious. Because I think I never think about the fact that like people are watching these things.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, then that one ended up being like on the cover of the part of that New York Times article, which was crazy. But now there's so many.
Mm-hmm. Did you keep on like auditioning for them after, or were you kind of getting direct offers, or was it both, or how has that kind of panned out?
Yeah, for a couple of months I was still auditioning, and then it became direct offer as a few of the other ones started to go viral, which has been, I'm super grateful for that, and that's been exciting and nice. But I think it's like once you have a couple that get a large fan base and everything, then you're able to be more selective and choose the production companies and the streamers that you want to work with, which is really nice.
Yeah. It's so fascinating to me how so many of us are working actors, offer only actors because of this new platform. And it's like, we're all doing, like, we come here and we're like, I want to be like a full-time actor. I just want to make a living off the craft. And like, that's all what we're doing right now. But it's in such a different way than I ever would have
it's
imagined or pictured or,
yeah.
And it's still so new and it's like, who knows what's going to become of it, or we're all just kind of riding the wave and seeing
100%
what happens from here, because it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, maybe Netflix will pick up a vertical section. It'll change all of our lives.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll die next year. You just never know in our
industry.
It's
like next month it could be gone.
So you just have to ride the wave, which is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Which leads me, I would love to ask you, has any or have any bigger projects reached out to you because of these verticals?
Yes. So, it's been great. I've been very lucky that I have gotten a few bigger offers, in more of the horizontal world.
Yeah.
Since these kind of started, and because of one of the shows I did on a vertical platform, I actually was called in with another actor that I'd worked with together for a bigger show that we're working on in the spring, which will be super exciting.
Really got picked up.
Yes, it did. So we'll see. And yeah, I think, which is like goes to show, because people have a lot of different opinions on these, and which is totally fair. They can be absurd at times, but the people like you meet from these and the connections you make are so valuable. Just like a random person on set, that you meet one time on one day will reach out like a month later with a project. So I think that's been the most fruitful like part of this whole experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, spring 2025. We'll see what happens.
We'll keep our eyes out. Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying though about the beautiful thing of just like riding the wave of opportunities that comes to you. Is like LA is such a big thing of like one thing leading to another, and you just never know. So making the most of every opportunity.
Exactly.
I love that though. That's so exciting. So if you guys weren't following, so people watched this vertical. They saw Grace and another person in a vertical, and now she's doing like a bigger horizontal project because they liked their chemistry in their show, which is so cool.
Yeah.
I would love to know, what is one thing you wish you knew before you moved to LA to pursue acting?
I think I know. I think I wish I would have like known that it's going to take a lot of patience. Nothing happens overnight, and you can work as hard as you can weeks on end, but like you have to realize it takes time for things to happen. I mean, it takes time for like you work on a production, it goes into post, and then it takes time to get a following for like even just thinking about it in a way of like how our series work, and then more opportunities come from that, and it takes time to network, and you have to be patient with that. Also, just LA in general. I think I moved here and I was like, what is going on? I don't know this this place is so different than from Chicago. Driving everywhere has been an adjustment. Now I love it, but at first I did not want to get in the car. So from a practical standpoint, I was like, it's like edited. Someone told me this the other day and I thought that was really interesting, because in Chicago or New York, you get on the subway or the L to get to work, or you walk, and so you're always out and about and kind of amongst other people. But your experiences in LA, if you're driving around, are kind of edited because you have your time in your car, and then you're at another destination and you're socializing, which I found interesting because I really love my time in the car, being able to listen to podcasts or talk to people on the phone, and now I'm very used to it.
You have to get good at like just managing the downtime and like sitting with yourself and finding ways to busy yourself. Making the most of the time.
100%. And some of my best friends live in Brentwood and I live in West Hollywood, so it's also like, some nights I'm not going to go and see them because I don't want to drive, 30 minutes if there's bad traffic, which in another city, it's not that hard. It's not hard to go see them. So that's interesting too.
I would love to know, because you've talked about how things take time in this industry, and I know it took like almost a year before you booked your first vertical. Can you talk to me about that first year in LA when you were still working as an assistant for that director? What was that year kind of like for you? Did you have reps, things like that?
Totally. Well, I guess it's important. Like when I moved out here, I knew I wanted to probably go into production in some capacity producing mainly. That was like my goal.
Even ahead of acting?
Yes.
At the time? Wow.
So immediately I was applying to jobs to be an assistant for a producer.
Okay.
So once I got that first gig, that was super exciting, and I loved my boss. I still work with him sometimes, but so I wanted to go into producing, and so I did so much networking for that. I was thinking about doing a mailroom. You do the mailroom at UTA or CDA.
Kind of work your way up.
Yeah, and so I thought about doing that, but I knew that I also still wanted to work on sets, so I wasn't ready for a full-time in-person, at least signing on for a year job. So I started there and met a lot of great people. I also jumped into an acting class at Leslie Kahn, which was awesome. Kind of just to meet people.
Yeah. 3 hours a day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. But I met some good people there and got to know LA so much better from that. And then I shot a feature and a lot of commercials before the strike happened. Because when I moved here, it was January before, or it was whatever.
Oh, right.
I
didn't think about that. You moved here at such a bad time. We all did. I moved here in COVID too.
Yeah,
COVID strikes.
That was weird. And it definitely slowed things down even more. So then I was still assisting, and I was writing and directing proof of concepts, which I still do. And working on a pilot for a comedy show, which is really fun. I'm still working on that. But yeah, so and then the strike happened, and I was still doing shorts and stuff like that. But then when I booked True Luna, then it kind of became these back to back.
Yeah. So it was more just kind of random freelance gigs and
exactly.
then producing beforehand.
Yeah, and I still long-term love producing, and I love everything that I learned from my boss, so I definitely want to go back into that, but right now I'm kind of just riding the wave and seeing what happens while I'm in this, land of verticals and film, so...
We might cut this if you want, but I also heard that you wrote a vertical. Is this correct?
I did.
Okay.
No, it's totally, we can talk about it. My friend Jackson Tiller, who's also a vertical actor, and I wrote a script, which we're in the process right now of producing and signing with streamers right now, which is exciting.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we both got a little tired of playing the same characters over and over again, and we both love Peaky Blinders and so
that's such a controversial movie. I feel like people love it or hate it. I like it too.
Well, we both really wanted to do a period piece, and we thought that would do well in the vertical land. So we wrote it, and we're producing it, which has been fun. I've actually written a few that are going into production in the spring, summer. So because I feel like it is an oversaturated market of a certain type of show right now, but it is such a huge market the other day there was a Deadline article, I don't know if you saw, about TikTok put $11 billion into their new mini streaming.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Are they launching their own
division? They're launching their own thing. Yeah. Which is insane. So people are putting so much money into this, and we have no idea where it's going to go. But I think with the following it has, there's so much potential to create projects that are different and bring projects that could be in the more horizontal world into a vertical, because you're just shooting it a different way.
Yeah, so creating beautiful stories, but you're right, just shooting them vertically.
Exactly.
I know. I kept waiting. I was like, why is it taking so long for kind of the starting apps? I was like, why is it taking so long for them to create good stories? Because I think what works, and it's a business, and so I think that they're so scared of branching out, because who knows if it's going to work, if it's going to make them money, but somebody has to take that leap of faith, and I think that's beautiful that you guys are taking it into your own hands. Are you wanting to, everything you write, are you wanting to star in it, or some of them are you literally just writing them to write them?
I'm writing them to write them.
Oh, okay.
I think for that one, we'll both star in it because we wrote the characters with ourselves in mind, but moving forward, I'd love to produce and write, and not necessarily always be on the other side of the camera. And it's fun because I feel like there's such a great group of female actors that we work with now, and so it'd be fun to be able to, you know, put each other in projects and find like characters that work well with each other. Yeah.
Would you ever direct one?
I am curious. I think like I'm a little hungrier to get on the producing side before directing. I mean, but at this point I feel like all of us could, you know, dabble in directing them a little bit because we know the formula. But yeah, I do have, I do know some people who are now getting into that. Like, I think because I'm so interested in producing, I'll probably wait a while before I direct, but could be fun.
Can you talk to me, what is your process like for writing? Are you somebody who just like gets in like a flow state and you'll just like write a full script? Do you work on it day by day, or how do you like practically discipline yourself?
Yeah, I, when it comes to these, I was, when Jackson and I were writing, we would both take turns kind of getting into like a shared PDF and writing ideas down and then going back and forth, which was fun because you have someone, we both definitely have strengths in the writing room, and so we both were able to, you know, ping pong off of each other. But then a couple that I've written in the last months, or like last 2 months, was honestly because I was on a project and I was really not loving my character.
Okay.
And so I came home at night and I was just like, oh, fuck it. I don't know if I can say that, but sorry.
Sorry,
Beep. I just really wanted to write something different, and so it came out of it was born out of frustration, but I would literally write from, I think my most productive hours, which is so bad, are from like 8 p.m. to like 1 a.m.
That's a lot of us. I know. I'm like that too, which I hate.
it.
And when you're working too, when your call time's like 7 a.m., it really just doesn't work out for me.
No, it's really bad, and I think I've read a little bit about it, and if my friends listen to this, they're gonna laugh because I always talk about this, but my high cortisol levels, which you get a burst of energy at night.
And they're totally like lower in the morning, which is not supposed to be.
No, exactly. It's so annoying, but I truly, like, around when I'm not on set and I'm doing work during the day, I really hit my grind later in the day, and then of course like people come home and it's dinner time and I'm like, oh, I have to go shut myself in my room just to work. So that's something in the new year I'm hoping to get better about.
At least you know that about yourself though, because it
Yeah,
sounds like that's your
awareness.
natural, like, yeah. So when you're writing them, just out of curiosity, do you write in order of the story, or do you like hop around, or do you write it beginning to end?
I kind of hop around because there's scenes that immediately come to my mind when like an idea pops up. And I will say, like, I didn't go to school for writing, or, you know, I mean, I took like English classes and stuff, but I had to learn a lot, and do a lot of research about structuring and, you know, whatever. I think I'm more of a development idea person, and then I like lean on others who are like, I have a really good friend who's such a talented writer, and so I always bounce things off of him when it comes to like actual dialogue and stuff. And so definitely in the future he's going to be more of a co-writer, because I like to come up with ideas, but then when it comes to, you know, cheeky humor, I appreciate leaning on someone else for that, because I can't always think of it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I feel like too, these vertical scripts are a beast of something to write because they're so specific in like how every episode has to be so heightened. So has that been annoying? Like, did you guys pitch it and then they like gave you a bunch of edits, or how has that been? Did you guys go into it knowing you needed to have a cliffhanger every 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Or what has that been like?
So I worked on a project in October that was written by the director that I worked with, and it was an awesome like script that was about it was like Knives Out kind of.
Oh,
and it was
can
in
you
a
plug the project? Is it out yet?
It's not out. It's coming out in December. It's called Love, Lies, and Alibis.
Okay.
Um,
That's actually not that bad of a title.
I know. No, it was a really great script. I mean, it still, of course, had to have some of the soapy tropes, but it was really, really well done, and it was such a fulfilling project. Yeah, shout out to that production. And so after that one, I felt like okay, wait, we don't have to lean into all of these things. You can get some of, you need the romance, you need, like, unfortunately, you need, like, a meaner female character, or you need you need your antagonist. But you don't have to, like, crazy lean into those tropes. And so after that, while we were finishing our script, we just decided our episodes are cut, like, they're kind of like scenes, but they don't, like, necessarily end on crazy cliffhangers at all. And because it's kind of written as a whole feature, and then we cut it up into episodes. So that'll be something that will be interesting to see with the viewers, if they like that. I think because we're, both working on it, and it's a really, like, overall, it's a really exciting story, and it has a lot of action in it. I think it'll still keep people hooked. But yeah, I mean, some of them, as you know, like, every 30 seconds, it's like another, mic drop. It's really funny. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's exciting. It'll be cool too. Like you said, it's kind of an experiment in a way. Like, I feel like we probably haven't had something like what you guys are doing, so that'll be exciting to see.
Yeah.
Because I have a feling people will love it. It's just like I was saying, the apps are too scared to try something. So you guys could be starting, who knows,
It could go really well, really bad.
It'll go well. What is the best part of the industry for you?
I would have to say all of the amazing people I've met and, like, gotten to work with. It's just so exciting to go on a set, regardless of if it's a vertical or horizontal or commercial, whatever it is, and just recognize someone from another set that I worked on, like, 6 months ago. One of the first sound ops that I worked on a commercial shoot with, right when I moved here, was on a set that I was on, like, a couple months ago, and it was so lovely to see, like, him again. So I think that's been the most exciting thing, just being able to. It is such a small world, which can be a blessing and a curse,
right.
But I found it as a blessing thus far, and getting to, really know all the other people and getting on a set and seeing familiar faces has been so exciting. So I think that's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like, too, a lot of the time, it's even if you don't know that person, you know this person who they know, and it's like, it's always fun following somebody in social media. It's like 20 people and it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, it makes
I like you
game.
immediately 100%. If you're already friends with this person.
No, exactly. It's so nice to be able to find familiar faces, or at least have some connection to someone, which makes it so much more exciting.
Now we'll do a little downer. What's the worst part of the industry for you?
I mean, I think the hardest part is probably, it is so much work, and the high highs and low lows. I'm definitely a person, I love when I'm on set, like 12, 14-hour day, sign me up, but the days when I'm off set, or I'm not positive about the next project I'm working on, those can be really tough. Which is why I still work in producing, outside in, like, the documentary world, and that's a huge part of my career I'm super excited about, because those projects take a long time. Like, I've been working on one project for 2 years, and it's really nice to have that stable, exciting thing that's still going on, because when you're on a set for 10 days and you get to know all these people, and it's so lovely, and then it's, like, dropped off, and I'm like, I hope I see you again. Maybe I won't.
And everybody's like, we'll have a watch party, and it never happens. I feel like when it comes to every project's not.
Yeah, they send a when to me, and it's like, okay, nobody can go because everyone's on another set already.
Right.
So I think I really appreciate, the high highs of, like, working with people all the time, but then the hardest part of the industry for me, I think, is just not being able to, when you have to take a break between shoots, and having that, you're so used to socializing with everyone every day, and then it's like, oh wait, no one's here. It's weird.
It is, yeah. I liked what you said, though, about having another creative medium that fulfills you outside of acting. I think that's really powerful. And whatever that is for you, it doesn't have to be producing or anything creative in general, but just something outside of acting, whether it's like fitness or whatever you love, just something else that you have a little more control over that you can fill your time with, I think is so beautiful.
Definitely.
Important to have. How do you take care of yourself in such a crazy industry?
Great question. I do make sure that it's hard on set to be able to get time to go to the gym, But that's so important for my mental health. Even if it's like a little hike or a soul cycle class, I love going. Like, I don't know if they're the best workout, but I think it feels like between like the music and the speeches that the teachers give, I love going to them. And then hiking, that's a really big thing for me. I always, at least once or twice a week, I'm always on a hike, which is really, really nice. And such a great part about living in LA, just being able to drive 15 minutes and then you're, you know, on the side of a mountain, which is great. But those are, I also journal and actually voice memo myself a lot because I like to remember, especially because I get the funniest, weirdest experiences on set every day. And I'm like, I can't forget this. So I always try to write down things, and I think it helps me recap my day and, you know, but those are, like, journaling and being able to move my body are probably the most important parts. Yeah. And see friends and,
keeping up your relationships.
Yeah, because that can be tough.
It can, it can. Which is the beautiful thing about sets and how close you all get is I feel like that almost becomes, or when you start working with the same people over and over, it's like, oh, I get to hang out with Kelsey today because we're working on a project,
exactly,
you know? So it's like you have to kind of morph the two together, but I love that. So speaking of voice memos, I would love to know, do you have a crazy like audition or set story that comes to mind right off the top of your head?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Let's see what I can say.
Right.
I mean, I think I was just talking to my brother about this, but I think the funniest thing that ever happens, especially specifically talking about these shoots, is you know, you'll be doing a happy scene and then the next one is like you're being waterboarded and chained up and kidnappers are on the way. Yeah. And it's just like that, like being in that moment and I'm like, what is going on right now?
Right.
I think that's I laugh to myself all the time. I will say, like, some of my favorite scenes are the ones that you can't get through because everyone's, like, just, like, giggling. I love that. Like, I love being able to... I think it's so fun.
We've all been there. I feel so annoying sometimes to the crew. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Like tears.
You're, like, all really trying, but I know.
Whenever I work with Kelsey, because she plays my antagonist a lot, she always... her characters are always so over the top. And so whenever it's her coverage, I just have to, like, because she's so, her lines are so crazy to me, and I just have to pretend, like, okay, I can't look at you right now, because I'm gonna, but I think, and those are probably the most fun. You know, and also being on set, you always get a cast of characters, whether it's crew or actors, and you never know who's gonna show up, so I think that's been kind of funny. I'll just leave it at that, but you can meet some really crazy people.
It's very true. Some of the day players and stuff are always really great.
That's always in my voice memo at the end of the day.
Wait till you go out of the country and then the day players, they're really great in China.
Oh my.
Okay, if you could give one tip for new actors, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Just like one piece of advice. People moving to LA.
I think lead with kindness would probably be the biggest thing. Your energy that you put out, whether it's a class, networking with someone, or on set, you know, you give your energy to another person, and I think the most successful people I've met are the sweetest, most supportive people, and I think they get the farthest, for sure. So kindness and patience are both, I think, key in my life that I try to always keep in the back of my mind, because you can, just one thing that you say to one person, you know, can make their day, and then they'll literally reach out and message you about working together again. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, my last segment we always do is fast rapid fire questions. But before we dive into that, I just want to ask you, is there anything you feel like you want to get off your chest or speak to the people? If not, it's okay, but I always like to leave it open.
Nothing I can think of at the moment, but maybe after the frisky faggle.
Okay, let's see. Favorite quote?
Favorite quote. Well, I mean, I guess life's not a dress rehearsal, what I said earlier. Without, like, getting...
Yeah,
I think I'll keep with that.
Okay. Something everybody should watch. A show or a movie.
Okay, I love Nobody Wants This. I just finished it on Netflix.
Oh.
In one day, I really
Oh, is
love
that the Jewish show?
the Nobody Wants
Okay,
This.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
one day, Mbika Moda is in it, and she's a fabulous actress. So those are my two. And the English teacher. I'm telling you, we're gonna watch those three. Those are my favorite right now.
Yeah, I liked Nobody Wants This too. That was good. We haven't had a show like that in a while.
I know.
Like, I know.
It was
Cast and
so.
stuff.
It's really It's really cute.
It was cute. Pickles, yay or nay?
Yay, love pickles.
Favorite thing to do in LA?
Definitely hike or play pickleball.
Oh, I like pickleball too.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling for it.
I know. Do you have a certain hiking spot that you like? If it's a secret, that's okay too.
If I want to just get something quick done, I'll go to Runyon, just because that's super easy. But then otherwise, I love the Hollywood hike, like the Hollywood sign,
Mm-hmm.
and then Los Leones in Pacific Palisades. Those are like
Yeah.
some of my go-tos.
Recent obsession.
Recent obsession. Okay, these videos of people. What is it called? They like go into caves and then they like climb, and it's so irking because it's scary. They get into these little holes in like the sides of mountains, and like sometimes they don't get out. It's actually I don't know.
Where do you watch them at?
They're on my TikTok. And now my whole feed's them, and they're like, they make me so anxious, but it's also crazy. I'm so claustrophobic, and so watching something like that, I'm like, I can't believe a human put themselves through that. But like a more normal obsession, I love horseback riding, and so I try to do that as much as I can. So yeah.
She's a horse girl. How Midwest.
Midwestern girly.
Mm-hmm. Love that. All right. Anything else or no? You want to give a shout out to anybody? I'm just kidding.
Hey, everybody. No, I don't know. I think that's, I don't know.
You gave your tip to new actors, so that was kind of it. All right. Well, with that, we'll catch you guys next week.